Class 7th, Subject English, Topic Papa Panov's Special Christmas, Part 1. Now, before we begin with our lesson, Papa Panov's Special Christmas, let us discuss and know about different types of festivals that we celebrate. As you can see in the picture, there are different types of festivals, and festivals are an expressive way to celebrate glorious heritage, culture, and traditions. They are meant to rejoice special moments and emotions in our lives with our loved ones. All festivals are cultural in one way or another. There are many types of cultural festivals such as national, religious, and seasonal. A festival is a gathering of people to celebrate something. It can also refer to a one day or more when people in a country have a holiday so that they can celebrate something. Festivals may be religious or national. As talking about different festivals, we are going to talk more about Christmas festival. Christmas is celebrated on 25th of December to remember the birth of Jesus Christ, who Christians believe in the Son of God. The name Christmas comes from the Mass of Christ or Jesus. The first day of Christmas is the day before Christmas, which is known as Christmas Eve. It is celebrated on December 24th every year. Traditionally, people decorate their houses with bright, colorful lights and a Christmas tree. People celebrate Christmas Day in many ways. It is often combined with customs from pre-Christian winter celebrations. Many people decorate their homes, visit family or friends, and exchange gifts. Christmas holds a great cultural significance, and the festival is the connection between the Christians and the non-Christians of India, and it is a sight to see how wonderfully they celebrate the festival together. About the author Leo Tolstoy. He was born on 9th September 1828 and he died on 20th November 1910. Usually referred to in English as Leo Tolstoy. He was a Russian writer who is recognized as one of the greatest authors of all the time. He received nominations for the Nobel Prize in Literature every year from 1902 to 1906 and for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1901, 1902 and 1909. That he never won is a major controversy. It was Christmas Eve. Although it was still afternoon, lights had begun to appear in the shops and houses of the little Russian village. For the short winter days was nearly over. Excited children scurried means to run with quick light steps indoors, and now only muffled sounds. Muffled means sound which is covered up, of chatter and laughter escaped from closed shutters. Old Papa Panov, the village shoemaker, stepped outside his shop to take one last look around. The sound of happiness, the bright lights, and the faint but delicious smells, delicious means tasty, of Christmas cooking reminded him of past Christmas times when his wife had still been alive and his own children little. Now they had gone. So it was Christmas Eve, and even though it was afternoon, lights had begun to appear in the shops and houses of the little Russian village. For the short winter days were nearly over, and during winter times it becomes dark early, and children ran with quick light steps indoors in excitement. And now slowly the sound was covered up of chatter and laughter which was escaped from cold shutters. And an old Papa Panov, who was the village shoemaker, he stepped outside his shop to take a last look around. And the sound of happiness, the bright lights, and the faint of tasty sweets and smell of Christmas cookies reminded him of past Christmas time when he used to stay with his wife, and he wished his wife would still be alive and his own children little. But now they had gone. His usually cheerful face, with the little laughter wrinkles behind the round steel spectacles, looked sad now. But he went back indoors with a firm step, put up the shutters, and stepped a pot of coffee to heat on the charcoal stove. Charcoal means impure carbon, coal, and stove means a device for heating food. Then, with a sigh, he settled in his big armchair. Papa Panov did not often read, but tonight he pulled down the big old family Bible and slowly, tracing the lines with one forefinger, he read again the Christmas story. He read how Mary and Joseph, tired by their journey to Bethlehem, found no room for them at the inn, so that Mary's little baby was born in the cowshed. So his usually cheerful face, with little laughter and wrinkle behind the round spectacles, looked very sad now, thinking of his family when they celebrated together. But he went back indoors with firm steps, and he put down the shutter and set a pot of coffee to heat on the stove, and he settled in his big armchair. And Papa Panov usually wouldn't read, but that night he pulled down the big old family Bible, and he was slowly tracing the lines with one forefinger. He read again the Christmas story and how Mary and Joseph were tired by their journey to Bethlehem, and they found no room for them at the inn. So Mary's little baby was born in the cowshed. Oh dear, exclaimed Papa Panov. If only they had come here, I would have given them my bed and I could have covered the baby with my patchwork quilt to keep him warm. Quilt means a bed covering consisting of two layers, stitched together with insulations between. He read on about the wise man who had come to see the baby Jesus, bringing him splendid gifts. Splendid means magnificent. Papa Panov's face fell. I have no gifts that I could give him, he thought sadly. So Papa Panov said that if they would have come here, then he would have given them his bed and he would have covered the baby with his patchwork bed covering to keep him warm. And he had read about the wise men who had come to see the baby Jesus, bringing him magnificent gifts. But Papa Panov thought sadly that he had no gift that he could give him. Then his face brightened. He put down the Bible, got up, and stretched his long arms to the shelf high up in his little room. He took down a small, dusty box and opened it. Inside was a perfect pair of tiny leather shoes. Papa Panov smiled with satisfaction. Yes, they were as good as he had remembered, the best shoes he had ever made. I should give him those, he decided, as he gently put them away and sat down again. So his face brightened and he put down the Bible, got up, and stretched his long arms to the shelf high up in his little room. And he took down a small dusty box and opened it. Inside was a perfect pair of tiny leather shoes. And then Papa Panov was having smile of satisfaction on his face. And the shoes were as good as he had remembered, and these were the best shoes that he had ever made. So he thought that he should give him those. He decided, and he gently put them away and sat down again. He was feeling tired now, and the further he read, the sleepier he became. The print began to dance before his eyes, so that he closed them. Just for a minute. In no time at all, Papa Panov was fast asleep. And as he slept, he dreamed that someone was in his room, and he knew at once, as one does in dreams, who the person was. It was Jesus. So, because he was reading, he was feeling tired, and the further he read, the sleepier he became. And the print began to dance before his eyes, so he closed them only for a minute, and in no time at all, Papa Panov was fast asleep. And as he slept, he dreamt that someone was in his room, and he knew already who it was, as one does in dream. And the person was Jesus. You have been wishing that you could see me, Papa Panov, he said kindly. Then look for me tomorrow. It will be Christmas Day, and I will visit you. But look carefully, for I shall not tell you who I am." When at last Papa Panov awoke, the bells were ringing out, and a thin light was flittering through the shutters. "Bless my soul," said Papa Panov. "It's Christmas Day." "So he have been wishing that he could see me," said Papa Panov kindly. And then he said, "Look for me tomorrow, as it was Christmas Day, and I will visit you." But he had to look carefully, for he shall not tell you who I am. And at last Papa Panov awoke, and the bells were ringing out, and a thin light was flittering through the shutters. And Papa Panov said, "Bless my soul," as it was the Christmas Day. He stood up and stretched himself, for he was rather stiff. Then his face filled with happiness as he remembered his dream. This would be a very special Christmas after all, for Jesus was coming to visit him. How would he look? Would he be a little baby, as at that first Christmas? Would he be a grown man, a carpenter, or the great king that he is, God's son? He must watch carefully the whole day through, so that he recognized him however he came. So he stood up and stretched himself, as he was rather stiff, and then his face filled with happiness as he remembered his dream. And this Christmas was very special to him after all, for baby Jesus was coming to visit him. And he started thinking that how would he look? Would he be a little baby as at the first Christmas? Or would he be a grown man, a carpenter, or the great king that he is, God's son? He must watch very carefully the whole day through, so that recognize him however he comes. Papa Panov put on a special pot of coffee for his Christmas breakfast, took down the shutter, and looked out of the window. The street was deserted. No one was stirring yet. No one except the road sweeper. He looked as miserable and dirty as ever, and well he might, whoever wanted to work on Christmas Day, and in the raw cold and bit freezing mist of such a morning. Papa Panov opened the shop door, letting in a thin stream of cold air. "Come in," he shouted across the street cheerily. "Come in and have some hot coffee to keep out the cold." So Papa Panov put on a special pot of coffee for his Christmas breakfast, and he took down the shutter and looked out of the window. As the street was empty and no one was there yet except the road sweeper, he looked as miserable and dirty as ever, and well he might, that who wanted to work on Christmas Day, and in the raw cold and bit freezing mist of such a morning. So Papa Panov opened the shop door, and letting in a thin stream of cold air. And he said, "Come in," as he shouted across the street cheeringly. And as it was cold, he said to come in and have some hot coffee to keep out the cold. Correct the following sentences and rewrite them. First one is, the best shoes that Papa Panov had made were a pair of ladies' shoes. Second one is, Papa Panov gave hot soup to the sweeper, milk to the young mother, and coffee to the beggars. Third one is, by afternoon, Papa Panov had stopped looking out for Jesus. Fourth one is, Papa Panov saw the sweeper, the young mother, and the beggars he had helped only once in the morning. Fifth one is, Jesus had actually visited Papa Panov only once on Christmas Eve. So, 5 sentences are given and you have to correct the sentences and rewrite them. Answer the following questions. First one is, did Papa Panov have a shop away from his home? So you have to answer if Papa Panov had a shop away from his home. Second one is, did he live alone? Why? So you have to answer if he was living alone and why. What was the reason that he was living alone? Third one is, what tells us that Papa Panov is a kind person? So, how can you tell that Papa Panov was a very kind person? You have to answer. Fourth one is, why is the small box dusty? So, why is the small box dusty? You have to answer. Fifth one is, what thoughts did Papa Panov have before he fell asleep? So, what thoughts did Papa Panov had before he fell asleep? You have to answer. Sixth one is, were they related to his dreams? So, the thoughts which he had got, were they related to his dreams? You have to answer. Seventh one is, did Papa Panov believe in his dreams? So, Papa Panov had got a dream. And did Papa Panov believe in his dream? You have to answer. Eighth one is, in what forms did Papa Panov imagine Jesus to visit him? So, which all were the forms that Papa Panov imagined baby Jesus will be visiting him? You have to answer. Thank you.